Hello and welcome to another Wicked Gameplay episode. Today we're in X-Plane and we're looking at the latest creation from VFlyteAir. This is a plane that when I found out that these guys were doing this plane, I was super excited about seeing this and actually getting it in the sim and actually getting to fly it. And the fantastic thing was that I reached out to the guys and they did send me a copy of the plane to feature on the channel. Just prior to release. So as I'm filming this, this is actually in 10.30 beta version 8. We're almost at release candidate for X-Plane 10.3. So big props to you guys from VFlyteAir. Thank you very much for sending me this plane. It is super appreciated, and I want to try and do my best to show why this is a fantastic plane. Now, I also did the Grumman Traveller from VFlyteAir, and that was my first kind of aircraft away from Coronado. And these guys just do amazing work. You know, let me tell you a little bit about these guys. These guys started VFlyteAir back in 2011, so 2011, and it really just started out as a guy who was a real-world pilot. He was a student, and he wanted to fly the trainer aircraft that he was flying as a student in X-Plane, but he couldn't find it. So what did he do? He started actually learning how to make planes in X-Plane. And you know what they did was, I don't know, I'm not really sure how they came together as a team, but I know they started creating some aircraft which they donated freely to the X-Plane community, which is pretty fantastic. And you know, here we are with this is, I believe, one of their 4th or 5th planes that they've now done that is payware, and you know, it is fantastic work. I mean, just look at this modeling. It's basically up to the scratch of every other aircraft, at least that I've purchased for X-Plane. So this is just amazing work. It just looks fabulous, and I absolutely love this livery that comes with it. It comes with, I think, 12. There's 12 different liveries. So you can see here they've done fantastic work. Now, I mean, I just can't speak highly enough about the level of details that these guys go to. I mean, look at that suspension. If you just get in here and look at some of the suspension and some of the detail of this aircraft, it's really amazing. Like, it looks fantastic. Okay, so why don't we just have a look at what some of the things are that come with this plane. Now, they've introduced this little these little sort of options here, which is pretty cool. So you can look at the pilot, but before we look at some of these, let's have a look at some of the outside ones. So like the left wing, the right wing, the tail. I mean, look at that. That looks so cool. And the nose. You can see here. Look at the detail on that suspension. That's so cool. We've got a bit something weird going on in X-Plane there, but that's got nothing to do with the plane. So these are pretty cool. Let's have a little look at the outside of the plane, and let's have a little look at the cargo door, which is at the back here. You can see it's got a pretty cool sound there. We've got some baggage in the back, and we also have the passenger door here. And we've got the dome lights, which we'll look at when we go in there. We'll close that. I mean, the fact that this is just a very small team of guys is pretty amazing to me, that they've produced such amazing planes. So it's really cool. They've also got some chocks and stuff here. Now, I don't see any. Oh, yeah, here. Yoke, lock, and chocks. So that does take that off there. Very cool. Alright, why don't we jump into the cockpit and we'll have a look what that looks like. Okay, so we're inside here. I love the textured look that they give this aircraft. You know, give it a bit of wear and tear to make it look used. So I wonder if they modeled that off a real plane. So you can actually hide the yokes here. So you just click on the back of the yoke there, right at the base, and that'll hide the yokes. You have the control locks here, so you can maneuver. You can see here you've got your rudder and You know, you got some nice detail work around the pedals, that sort of thing. Really cool. I didn't check if these work. Doesn't look like the fuses work. Not all the switches work, but the majority do. It's definitely has the majority of the things modeled, so that's pretty cool. Let's have a little look. So we've got our standard sort of instrumentation that you might expect. We've got a clock here and the timer and stuff. We also have some nice warning lights for your gear and when your gear's actually in motion. What was this other thing here? Was the audio advisory system, the AAS, which is this switch here, which is basically a human voice which tells you when your gear's coming up or down, and some other alerts, which is also pretty cool. What else have we got up here? So we've got audio. You can turn that on and off. Your navs. You got some dimmer switches. So why don't we have a little look in the back here? See what that looks like. That's pretty cool. None of this sort of really works. I think. Yeah, look at that. They actually modeled that. Very cool. I like it. I love these Piper aircraft too. They're so good. So we also have the side window. Alright, what we're going to do is fire this thing up. So just give this thing some mixture. We'll get the prop up there, give it a little bit of throttle. So we'll need to turn on our alternator and battery. I've already did a small flight in this, so my avionics is already on, but there is an avionics switch way over here. The GPS is on this side. I've also got the autopilot here, but it is only a basic autopilot. From what I could tell, it doesn't follow the GPS. It's only to do with the your navigation, as far as I'm aware, but I haven't fully tested that. We also have some lights here, your stall light, and like I said, all your typical gauges, transponder, radio stack, and GPS. We've got some light switches here, which we'll look at, but let's fire this thing up. So we'll just give this thing some juice. Let's check out oil temperature, and oil pressure is good, amps are good. You've got your fuel tank left and right here, all good. Let's get these revs down a bit. Now, if you open the doors here, it does affect the sound. It doesn't work on this window, but or does it? If I turn my head, no. So that window doesn't affect the sound at all. We have our lighting here. Let's jump outside. We're also at a free airport today, provided by the X-Plane community. Actually, this airport here actually is one of the free ones that comes with X-Plane 10, the one that is, you know, putting some buildings and that sort of thing on the airport. So that's been added in 10.3. This plane looks fantastic. This could be my new favorite plane in X-Plane, I think. You know, just the rendering here looks great. So what do we got down here? We have some fuel, manifold pressure, what else? I think that's pretty much it. We've got our EGT in that here, and I'm not sure what that one is, to be honest. This switch here doesn't work. Alt air. So what I should have done is already turn my beacon on. Leave my fuel pump off. I don't think we're going to need that. We have our navigation lights here. We just push up. And this is the panel lighting here. So before we go anywhere, why don't we just have a little look at what this thing looks like in the dark. So we'll just change the date and time here. So we have our night light here from up the top here. We also have our dome light, which gives us quite a bit of light. And we should have our dimmer here, which can dim your instruments. And I'm pretty sure, was there another? I thought there was a dimmer somewhere else. Well, I'll move on. We'll go to this volume here. So this is the volume of the aircraft. You can just click on this knob, pilot knob, and that pretty much covers the dimmer. I think we've also got our flaps and stuff here, emergency landing gear, and I think this is just an indicator for your pitch, which is also on the dashboard or on the cockpit, which I really like. So when I do my flaps here, you can see I really love that indicator. And we also have our trim, sorry, not pitch, trim indicator there. So all good. Let's jump outside and have a little look. We still don't have landing lights on, so let's have a little look at that. Landing lights. Very cool. Looks like a quartz halogen. Got that bit of a BMW kind of headlight look to the outside ring. Alright, cool. So we're going to jump outside now and we're going to take this thing for a spin in the air. Alrighty. So let's head off this way. It's quite fast. I wonder where which way the wind is going. Trying to see a windsock. There's a windsock there. Not much wind at all. So we might go this, take off on runway 2. So you also got to remember this aircraft here still hasn't been released, and I think they are still testing it. Excuse me, I'm still getting over my cold. They are still testing this aircraft. The last I heard was that they were getting some real pilots to test this. You know, pilots who've got lots of experience in a Piper Arrow, and could give them some feedback. So there's definitely going to be some updates, and these guys are fantastic at doing updates, and they provide those for free to their customers. You know, they really do a fantastic job. Another thing I wanted to point out, and I've kind of left this a little bit late, but I'll do it now. I'll just stop here. They really have great documentation, so I'm going to get that up and try and show that on the screen now. So here's a little look at their documentation here. So you'll see here they go through the quick start guide, checklist. They give you some information about the aircraft. And I love this kind of thing where they number all the gauges and then they, you know, tell you what each one of those is. So if you're learning, this is fantastic. You get to know what everything is. You can easily find it, just map it back to the numbers. They take us to the co-pilot side and number those, tell you what they are, etc., which is pretty cool. I love that kind of thing. Also on the center console, the lower panels there. Some information from the actual aircraft data, which is, I was actually surprised how powerful this plane is, and also some instrument information. Like, not only do they put a great level of detail into the aircraft, but they also, you know, go, in my opinion, to a great level of detail in their instrumentation, so you can understand everything that's going on in the aircraft, which is really cool. So, all right, let's get back up. Let's get going. No taxi lines on this runway. So we have got our flaps down already. Should really turn our fuel pump on. This was the other light I was talking about here that we didn't look at, but this is the panel lights. We won't need those now during the day. Okay, so we're ready to go. Try and line this thing up with the runway a little. Alright. About 75, I think, to get up off the ground. Put our flaps up. Get our gear up.
Gear up.
So there's that AAS, the audio advisory system that works. As you can see, we can climb. Climbing at like 1,500 feet a minute. Now I don't know how realistic that is, but I'm assuming it's pretty realistic based on they've got the data for the plane. I mean, I've never flown a Piper. I've only had one go at a Cessna 172, but I'm also just comparing this to some other GA aircraft, you know, similar to a Piper, I guess, and yeah, this seems to be able to accelerate pretty rapidly. It is really nice to fly. We'll just turn on the autopilot. Okay, heading. That'll level the wings off. Have a look at this thing. Look at that detail. Amazing.
autopilot.
Okay, so we're just gonna get this, just got this thing 3 miles out. Let's just lower the acceleration here. Probably just a touch high. Get my gear down.
Gear down.
Might help if I line up with the runway. I'm losing a bit too much altitude there. Probably only want to be, I believe, dropping at about maybe 500 feet a minute. Oh, we had a flap over speed. Great. Should be fun. See if we can come in with a damaged flap. Trying to run me off the runway. Not bad for emergency landing. Okay, so there you have it. This is the Piper Arrow from VFlyteAir. Fantastic aircraft. I'd recommend, if you like GA aircraft, this is definitely one to add to your collection. I don't know what it costs at this stage, as it's still in pre-release when I'm doing this video, but it's going to be worth it. Fantastic aircraft, and thanks again to the guys from VFlyteAir. They've done a fantastic job on this, and I'm really looking forward to enjoying this aircraft in X-Plane 10. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Put your comments in the comments below, and go and say hi to the guys from VFlyteAir. Thanks very much, and we'll see you in the next episode.